Cheers!
Welcome to Movie Bitches! Episode 257. Tonight we are reviewing old. I don't know. I should.
Old. That's my go-to.
Yeah, that was
good.
Old.
You have to have the
Well, I can't.
You have to have the interjection. We're reviewing old. But first things first.
Yes.
I'm Avaryl, a video editor / podcaster, YouTuber. Because of all this.
What's your name and occupation?
Just to talk like normal people,
What are your names and occupations? I'm Madeline. My uncle's a resort manager here.
I'm an actuary. I calculate people's insurance rates based on their risk profile.
I curate exhibits for museums.
I'm Patricia. I'm a psychologist.
But really, first things first, shout out to our Patreon supporters.
Oh, I thought you were
$5 a
going to
month
say,
gets-
I'm Andrew, and you can't.
Second thing second,
Oh, okay.
I'm
We're
Andrew.
not.
No.
God damn it. Sorry, I'm going to stop talking.
Third things third, shout out to our Patreon supporters. $5 a month gets you early access. $10 gets you access to our viewing parties. Fourth, I guess, we're up to that point. Shout out to our one sponsor, Wink. Go to trywink.com/moviebitches. You get $22 off your first month of wine. Fifth things fifth. God, we're really just
What's
getting
happening?
into...
I don't even know what's going on.
I don't either. Make sure to subscribe, share, follow us on Instagram and Twitter, all of those things. Make sure to click the little thumbs up button. I just read they're getting rid of the thumbs down button, or they're not showing how many people have thumbs downed.
Why?
I think because people are terrible, and so they would swarm a video and be like, oh, fuck you, you said this thing that we don't agree with,
Okay,
so thumbs down.
All right.
I don't know.
I thought the algorithm liked thumbs down things. I've rarely
a
seen
reaction.
something with more thumbs down than thumbs up, but cool.
Dear Evan Hansen, perhaps? I don't know.
What I did, it's the worst thing anyone can do.
No, but we are talking about old.
Old.
Or is it M. Night Shyamalan's?
M. Night Shyamalan's old.
Now that just sounds like we're saying that he is old rather than...
Well, I mean, he's not, ancient, but some of this dialogue felt real fresh and new, and what those crazy kids are saying these days.
You can come over to my house and make up stories. Then we can go to the same college together and become neighbors with mortgages. Cool.
So yes, old. 2021 M. Night Shyamalan movie about a beach that makes you old. And why that's happening.
Okay, so I don't know. This movie, first of all, I guess let's just get this out of the way. I would say I do not recommend this movie. I wouldn't watch it. I wouldn't waste the time. Spoiler alert. I mean, we already talked about it. But basically, this movie is what this movie is about, which is M. Night Shyamalan dumps us on a fucking beach and then watches us age prematurely. I'm like, Jesus Christ, can I get these 2 hours of my life back? What the fuck? That's how I felt. How did you think?
I didn't hate it as much as you did. I would say you could watch it because I thought it was at least wacky. I wasn't bored, but it wasn't great. It wasn't great, but I had fun making fun of it. I mean, I was laughing at the nonsense. At a certain point, I was convinced that the twist was going to be that it was a small child playing with dolls on the beach, and it was just going to zoom out, and it was going to be like, I'm Trent, I'm 11, I'm Maddox. Oh man, wouldn't it be crazy if we got old really fast? It'd be like, yeah, that would be crazy, Maddox. And then that was the...
What's your name and occupation?
What's your name and occupation? Oh.
Better than Ramona Laffion.
Oh, 11 pence farthing better.
Ma, sweet Gandon.
I'm wearing a nurse's uniform. I don't know. I just genuinely thought that was what... Because it was so dumb. It felt so weird. Everything was weird. Nothing was average, And so I can appreciate that. It was kind of a swing. I mean, all of his movies are a swing. I think he should not be able to be in charge of the screenplays.
I'm a doctor.
My wife has epilepsy. I'm a nurse. My name is Jared.
Or cameos.
I thought, well, yeah, I mean, that's just, wow. His acting has not improved or worsened. It's just the same, and it's not good.
Did everybody leave their passports in their safes? I don't want anybody to lose anything.
Yeah.
What are your names and occupations?
There's no variation there.
No, it's just consistently. Well, there's also no variation in his acting, which I think is part of the problem.
But I thought some of the filmmaking was interesting. Like, I think he had a lot of ideas, how he represented time passing without showing it, and all of these kind of close-ups, or I wouldn't say it's great, but I was like, you're trying something.
You look different too.
How?
I don't know. You just look different.
And all of the shots were at least engaging, you know, for like, hey, this whole movie takes place on a beach with 10 people, you know.
Right.
There was thought put into it. Didn't feel like a cash grab, didn't feel lazy, except for the writing, which again, was truly atrocious. Really, really, really bad.
I'm a cardiothoracic surgeon and chief medical officer.
I curate exhibits for museums. I'm telling you this because I want you to trust me and not think I'm being hysterical when I say there's something very wrong with my child.
But we start, and Vicky Creeps from Phantom Thread, who's great. Everyone in it is good normally. You know what I mean? And they weren't terrible, but not good.
No, well, this had a similar vibe, I think, to me of, when you haven't watched it yet, at least, but The White Lotus.
I am tangentially aware that Jennifer Coolidge says, that Shiz is taken.
That Shiz is taken. Yeah.
That's all I got.
But the show starts off kind of like this movie where you're like, oh, something's weird. Something's off about this resort. And
what's this now? What's happening?
Going on, and something's weird, but this one actually gets weirder than The White Lotus did, and that was my biggest complaint about The White Lotus, was that it was just kind of like at the end of the whole thing, you're like...
Was it all drugs?
Well, no, but a little, but no. It was just socioeconomic and societal disparity, the upstairs downstairs of it all, that like then led the downstairs to go crazy. It was anyway, we're not talking about that.
More movies that are making that message to go full Buñuel, go full
or Parasite is
or full Parasite. Yeah, it's just like this shit got weird and wacky and surreal and bizarre, and that's why I didn't hate this movie, because I mean, by the end, there was some stuff at the end that I was like, I mean, this just became a different movie, and it's Whatever Happened to Baby Jane, and I'm into it.
Kara, where are you? Somebody's done this to us, Kara.
We're on the beach with these veils, and she's like wooing around in her, don't look at me, no! I have to put on my makeup, and she's like, woo! And then she suddenly is living in a cave.
Living in a cave, like you do.
What's this? I love this movie. This is crazy. Because of calcium deficiency. You gotta look out.
Oh my God.
You gotta look out for that.
Oh boy.
I have a calcium deficiency? So is it really calcium rich or just a catchy name?
So I guess, well, we'll get there. I don't want to
Yes.
spoil too much too soon.
If you have any inclination to watch it whatsoever, go watch it. I mean, I pretty much guessed what was going on, and it doesn't really matter, but it's an experience.
Yeah, oh God, it was too long. I just was like, okay.
It was too long. I mean, it's a Twilight Zone episode that's like too long, you know what I mean?
Yes, it's very that. Also, I just think that the pacing of every scene that was too long, and that's the stuff that really drives me crazy, where it's just like, why is this still happening? We get it. That vibe. Like, she's still climbing this cliff. Okay, we get it.
You weren't...
let her fall already.
You weren't just completely wondering if she was going to fall off that cliff or not. You weren't engaged in the action of, is she going to fall off that fucking cliff and then land on someone? I really thought she was going to land on someone.
Jill, wake up! Wake up!
I thought he was going to try and catch her. But
yeah, because, he does have the mind of a 5-year-old, so... Sometimes.
Well, I guess.
Sometimes.
Or was it not? Also, can we talk about this? Okay, this was my other biggest problem about this movie, was that I didn't give a fuck about any of them.
I was rooting for Jaren, the nurse, and Patricia, the psychiatrist.
Fair.
I was rooting for them.
I'm Patricia. I'm a psychologist.
I'm Jaren. I'm a nurse.
But no, I did not really particularly care about anyone else.
Well,
Except
especially
for
like
small boy who's uncle via marriage, I'm guessing.
I'm Midland. My uncle's the resort manager here.
when he was just such a generic like villain manager, you know, I was like, okay, this is. I think for me, where I really started to not care, the pregnancy.
Oh boy!
But
did you see that coming? Because I did.
Did you? I did not, because I was like, I couldn't even tell who was who. They were like spooning, and I was like, this is a weird way for. I thought that was the brother and the sister, just like kikiing. And I was like, this is a little oddly like, you know, lovey-dovey or something.
What's happening?
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then I was like, oh, she's pregnant. Oh, that's the different kid. Oh, I'm confused. Oh, she's pregnant? But also, like, the science of that is nonsense, but that's okay.
Andrew, the whole movie is nonsense.
Things are moving too fast here for a baby to survive.
No, you're lying. You're lying. You're all lying. You're lying. Shut up, you're lying. Shut up.
But then he's like so like, you know, no, my baby. And I'm like, dude, this literally happened in the past 28 minutes. What's going on?
I felt for those children. They were going through a lot of stuff.
Well, yes.
Very quickly. And the movie couldn't quite decide if it wanted them to be like maturing or not. But that's okay.
Right.
No one's actually had this experience, so how are we to know that you can't have a monologue about colors?
My thoughts have more colors in it now. Yesterday I had a few colors and they were really strong, and now I have more.
More colors and less colors, and they're stronger.
I kind of liked that. I thought that was an interesting way of...
There was like ideas that worked.
Yes.
On a whole, it did not. But it stayed vague enough for you to kind of go, okay, that could, yeah. Because if they tried to actually, Jordan Peeled it, I just think often Jordan Peele is like, there's like way too many grandiose ideas that don't end up coming together because it's like too big a scale of things, you know what I mean? And you're like, well, but the logistics of this, I shouldn't be thinking about that, but I am. This was at least just like, don't worry about it. It's real vague.
Yep. Yeah. Weird beachy science things. Yeah.
Just gonna keep it loose. I am not a forensic scientist.
Notebook.
How am I supposed to know when a body decomposes? But I do work at a museum, so I do probably know how long a body should decompose for, just in case anyone was wondering. Sure. That's my job.
I'm not a forensic pathologist, but from excavations for the museum, my best guess, an exposed body, the flesh will be gone in approximately 7 years.
I actually wonder if this would have been more successful for me if we had more time at the resort. If like White Lotus was just this over 6 episodes or whatever, right? And it's like you start off and you're like, oh, we're just at the fucking Four Seasons in Maui, and isn't this great? Wait, something seems a little off. Or like, who's this person? Oh, they have a debilitating disease? Interesting. Huh.
Don't worry. I'm a nurse. My name is Jaren.
I'm a nurse. My name is Jaren. It's Jaren, by the way.
I'm Jaren!
Just in case anyone was wondering.
Just in case.
Yeah, I mean, I think we could have gotten to know, everyone was weird from the get, except again, Patricia and Jaren, who I really did connect with and thought were cool. They just seemed like they wanted to have a great vacation, and they were living life to the fullest, and they were happy, and you know, and everything. But yeah, if we'd had more time to get to know, I guess, just the main family, because if you tried to introduce everybody, I don't know if it works. Maybe in a miniseries, because it was based on a graphic novel, I believe. So M. Night didn't write it wasn't like an original idea, but he did.
Right.
I'm pretty sure, in fact, do the screenplay.
Naming a rapper mid-sized sedan sounds like an M. Night Shyamalan thing to do.
Yeah, there was some pretty aggressive racism in this movie too. But it seemed obviously on purpose. Like this became this microcosm, right, for this doctor with, I guess, schizophrenia is what we find out at the end. Rufus Sewell has...
Was that what we found out?
Listen, I don't know why I did that. I thought he was going to hurt me. Sorry.
What's he talking about? Sorry.
I think because they said at the end, we have to separate the mental illness patients from the just like, I have a debilitating disease patient.
I thought that meant like dementia, but I guess it could have been some sort of...
It seems like, to me, it felt more like a paranoid schizophrenic kind of situation, because he was like, everything that, I think it heightens everything. My understanding of it is that it heightens things you're already afraid of. He was already being this sort of upper class snob, you know, probably mildly racist, right? And then it like brought it up to the next level. It seemed probably not done in the most subtle and thoughtful of ways because he just became real stabby, but real stabby.
Real stabby. And it was like, why wouldn't you have taken... I mean, I guess eventually they did take the knife away and then he found
They couldn't
it again,
take it away before they got rid of her tumor.
I forgot about...
How could you forget? How could you forget? Let's all
such insane
stick
nonsense.
our dirty hands inside of her
Right?
body cavity.
Maybe an infection doesn't have time to... Like, if the body is healing instantaneously, then...
So rapidly?
I
Or
mean,
you would just
we can't
die.
get into the science
You would
of
just
it 'cause
die
it's
immediately
nonsense.
from the infection.
Right, that's what I'm like, oh, the infection took over her entire body and now it's gangrene. You know, like,
Because she
there's
gave
no way
him
to prevent it.
She gave him tetanus later, right? With that
Right.
recipe. So, you know, questions. Lots of questions.
Well, also, the way that this grapefruit-sized tumor just, they're like, oh, it's like a baby delivery where it's like, and this baby
thank God.
is clean and
It wasn't
it's
attached to
separated.
any muscle tissue or nothing.
Organ, it hadn't spread. It was
Great.
just, yep.
Look, here it is. Just going to pop that
Just
right
toss
out.
that in the ocean. Okay.
Probably should have studied it. Now, what happened to that thing? Did it like...
I think it disintegrated as soon as they left it alone on its own.
Oh, like the baby.
Right. Oh my God, like she's carrying that bundle of bones. And I'm sorry, but I laughed very loud. She says this little bundle, and it's just like clunky bones. And I'm just like, what are we doing?
Well, the humor was unintentional.
That might be the rudest thing you've ever said, and I love it.
I mean, who cared? I'm so sorry, but like,
bones.
this is a nonsense baby that came across on a magical beach and lived for all of 5 seconds because it was conceived, given birth to, and died all within the span of an hour. What are we talking about? I don't care. By people that were 3 hours ago 4-year-olds. So what are we doing? Like, this is just insane. Why am I supposed to care about this? It was nonsense.
Oh, yes. Oh my God, what about when they all just started spouting statistics and exposition about, they were like, well, if the body decomposed at this rate, it was like one of those, you know, math problems.
If
if
a train leaves
left
the beach
Chicago
at this
station, and they're going 60 miles an hour.
The flesh will be gone in approximately 7 years.
We're staying roughly the same, man.
And this happened in,
Our
what, 3
cells
hours?
are just aged.
I know.
On this beach, less than 20 hours after you die, you just return to dust. 60 minutes
If our
is 2
cells
years.
are being affected,
Aged almost 50
speeding
years
up
in
in
one
their
day.
processes,
Half an
Almost a
hour
life.
then us
is
trying to
equivalent
leave
to
is
something like 1 year of our lives.
swimming to the surface too fast after being deep in the ocean.
And they like have a whole lot. Okay, so that means that we're aging 6 hours every, which means
It was kind of helpful to know, like, you know, a time frame. Okay, every half hour is a year or something like that.
it was just so clunky. It was just so clunky. I think that's the main takeaway. It's a big clunk, you know? There was ideas. I was mostly entertained because it was just so, like, I was just sitting there staring at it like, wait, now, I'm sorry, what is happening though? There was enough moments of, oh, now we're dealing with this crazy tumor, and now we're dealing with this crazy pregnancy, and now we got baby Jane wooing on down the beach, you know, and like all this nonsense. And I mean, she literally turned into like a baby Jane ghost and was just like, don't look at me now! Don't look.
God, it's already healed in the wrong position. Turn off the light! Turn the light off!
It was really absurd. But then also, she turned into like something from like Who Framed Roger Rabbit or something when she starts like, you know,
breaking all her bones, and then they're healing and they're cracking and they're breaking and they're healing and they're cracking. There's definitely a cleaner way to do this movie, right? Because they wanted to have their cake and eat it too, right? They wanted to have all these diseases and all these people and all these different varieties. It probably would have been better if they had all had the same disease that's really rare, or something that's so personal you don't want to talk about it. And then it like, wait a minute, what do you mean? Or it affects people slightly differently. And so you can kind of, as the audience, maybe start to be like, they were doing that too. And and it's a drug trial for, oh, spoiler alert, the whole thing's a drug trial. It's a drug trial for that specific thing. And that seems less just like, we are villains, and more like targeted. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know.
But would they all be at the same stage of development, right? That you'd be ready to test it on all of these people? I'm assuming you can't. Okay, so now that we've revealed this, I have to. My biggest question is, what the fuck was going on that no one was like, where did all of these people go? They went on vacation and now they never came back? No one's noticing that?
Like, and no one's noticing that mid-sized sedan is missing, who is at least somewhat famous.
Oh my god! That's mid-sized sedan!
It seemed like they were bad at keeping their secrets, whatever. Like, they were Icarus. They were flying too close to the sun. They had too much hubris. Not only are they getting a famous rapper, they're also bringing in children. Like, it seems like you'd want to find... Sadly, you'd want to find single homeless people, you know, like that bodies experiment, right? That like fucked up where it turned out they were like homeless people and...
Wait, really?
Oh yeah. That was like a whole thing. Did I make that up? No, it's like a whole thing. You remember with the body, and it turned out that it was like, oh yeah, it wasn't good. As far as I know, it was no good for the most part. Maybe there was a couple bad eggs. I don't know.
Yikes.
But you just think they would be more like, oh, this person could disappear and no one would notice. Because, I mean, there's got to be more than one. There's got to be a better person to disappear to test blood clotting on, right? That was what Midsize Sedan had a clotting issue. It wasn't like some
a rare clotting issue, but still, like...
I don't know. It just seems like if that little girl is going to recognize him, somebody took an Instagram picture of Midsize Sedan while he was at the resort, and then they're like, what happened to Midsize Sedan? We should investigate. And then, you know... what?
Right, he was last seen at this resort, and then, oh wait, other people disappeared too. Like, that's what just... When he shows up and he gives that guy, I'm a policeman, when he gives him the...
I'm a cop.
I'm Greg Mitchell. I'm a cop.
Cool.
When he gives him the list of people,
They've
and it was like,
all
all
gone
missing person cases?
Oh, my...
Crazy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, who's going on vacation and not saying where they're going?
I mean, maybe a few people, but like everyone, always, somebody's going to notice.
Yeah, that's what, it just seemed crazy to me. And again, the morality of it too really becomes immoral when you're killing an entire family just for the one person. Like, that seems wrong.
Just
I mean,
for
obviously
the
it's
one
wrong.
person
But like,
who has a benign tumor. You know what I mean? There wasn't like, she was like, it's fine, they're going to take it out. Like, it seemed like it was already a problem that was generally able to be solved.
Yeah,
so
they at least they didn't tell that one very well.
Well, yeah, there wasn't even like a kind of a conflict, you know, like between the kids. Like, let's say the mom had some horrifying disease that was terminal, right? Maybe it's hereditary. And speaking of hereditary, I mean, the middle son.
That's who he is.
Yeah, but... No. Let's say it's hereditary and it's been a plague on their family for generations, and there's some kind of cathartic, like, well, I mean, not to like say yay for this pharmaceutical company, but to put, you know, a little, the scales, well, I mean, it is, you know, put you in that uncomfortable position to really think about this topic. Or is there an alternate version of this where people are volunteering to do this?
Right.
Or maybe some of them are and some of them aren't. I mean, I think that's just a more interesting way to tell this, basically.
I agree. Unfortunately, it's just like the concept was kind of interesting, but the way that it went about it was so both like on the nose and also helter-skelter. Like, it just didn't come together in a way that was engaging for me, because I think they really wanted so much of it to be like, what? We're getting older on this beach? But like, we already knew that. It's called Old. Hello. You know,
right.
So,
it's not a twist for us. I mean, except that we find out that it's a pharmaceutical company. But like the old of it all isn't very
It gets old real quick. I agree with you. Yes, there was like crazy moments of, you know, like whatever happened to Baby Jane lady and you know, all of this stuff.
Yeah.
But the in-between of it all, like the connective tissue was not there for me.
I was at least visually engaged. I feel like there's a much more boring visual way to tell this, and I was, at least I'm hanging my hat on that. I was like, you know what? You thought about it. You tried to think of an abstract way to like show this. So for me, it's not a total wash. And it's better
No.
than some other M. Night movies, let's be real.
Let's be real.
So
I just kind of wish that this was like a French film.
It probably is. I bet the comic is or something. You know what I mean? Like, we're going to look
Like,
it up
I
and be
just
like,
want to watch that one because I know it'll be more interesting.
everyone's going to be having affairs in the coves.
Ooh,
You know,
right? I mean, like that's an interesting thing too, where it's like, imagine you find out that you're stuck on this beach and you're aging rapidly. Like, what are you gonna do? Questions,
right?
Unexamined. A lot of it was unexamined, and that was what was frustrating.
Because they wanted to have the shock value of, oh my God, she's pregnant. I think it could be interesting if they turned the sped upness of it all down slightly, right? So there's more time for them to figure out what's happening and then experience what's happening. It seemed like by the time they figured it out, it was like, oh fuck, it's too late to do anything.
Yeah.
I mean, to like even kind of take this in. Oh fuck, I'm 50.
Yeah.
I was 6, 8 hours ago. Oh fuck.
I'm wondering too, it could be interesting if rather than trying to keep the whole pharmaceutical thing of it a secret, if it's just like, welcome to this beach, you're fucked, here's what's going on. There's no way out.
It's more of Most Dangerous Game or like Battle Royale or something. Maybe they give them, you could go in a total Hunger Games direction and be like, one of you will find a way, there is a way out, so one of you will find it. And like, then it becomes even, but then it's less about like curing the diseases and more about...
I'm fine if it is just like, we picked you to be fucking research test subjects and that's fucked. Right. Then like the humanity of it all of like, well, what happens now? I don't know.
I do think there could be a very interesting story of people choosing to be part of this because that people would. There is someone on this planet who actually would sign up for this.
Yeah.
And that's kind of interesting. And why?
Well, and then I guess if you are agreeing to sign up for it, you can plan for one last day of sorts of like the entire rest of your life. Who do you go with? Or like what, that it could be.
What do you want your last meal to be? It's a little bit like death row, you're like, oh, you get your last meal, you get this,
Exactly. Yeah.
What are they doing? Last rites over a loudspeaker? I mean, we're getting to a weird place.
A little bit, but it could be more interesting, and I think because it was supposed to be this big reveal of, they were guinea pigs.
Well, that's that's M. Night's cross to bear, right? It's just it's been a while since I thought maybe he'll live up to Sixth Sense. But I will say his movies are always visually, not always Last Airbender, but they're always visually engaging for the most part, which I can appreciate. I'll give him that. But yeah.
He's not incompetent. It's not like...
Well, the writing is quite terrible. It's quite terrible. I did wonder, I felt like there would have been more stuff on the beach. Like, I know they found some forks and that diary. Right. Where are all the umbrellas? Where are all the beach chairs? Where are all the bodies? Yeah. I guess they're disintegrated. Yeah. But like, where are all the beach chairs? I don't know. If they had gone, like if they had redone the elephant graveyard scene from Lion King and the kids are like, ha ha ha, and they're running around or whatever. And then they go to like a little alcove with a waterfall and it's just beach chairs in a creepy, pile. Yeah. Oh, that's weird. Wonder what that is. Like there could have been more kind of remnants and like if they had slowed down the clock of aging, right? And so it wasn't as obvious at first. You could have done a few more little like, that's weird, instead of just like, jump scare, there's a body.
Yeah, I agree.
Creepy chairs could have been creepier than just
Well, also, I was confused by the timeline because it seemed like they didn't start to age until the dead body showed up. That was what was so odd about it. You know what I mean? Where it's like they were children, and then all of a sudden they weren't children. And then you're like, well, that's not... Like, they would just be... I don't know. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think he tried his best with a concept that is hard to show visually. Like, if this was a literal... I think it's a graphic novel, but if this was, like, literally a novel, you in your mind, you go... Oh, and they're gradually, I think, it would probably be more successful. Right. But yeah, visually, it's like, what? Now he's the kid from Hereditary. What the fuck's going on? The fuck is this? Thank God that mom packed 4 bathing suits for all of them.
Of different sizes. Or some, whatever. But also, I'm like, who cares? If you're fucking in the tent anyway, like, what are we doing? I don't know. I just would think that, like, when your body starts aging rapidly over the course of an hour and a half, you're not really going to care about whether or not, like, the other people that are about to die see you naked. I don't know.
So you're saying they should have just all become nudists and said, let's have a big orgy and fuck it. Baklava. Baklava? Bacchanal.
Bacchanal.
Bacchanal. Baklava. Bacchanal. Yeah, all of the above. Dionysus. Where's the wine? There wasn't a scene of them getting drunk. I don't know. There are a lot of things that could. There wasn't a moment of despair where they all went, we're fucked, let's get drunk.
Right.
Or a moment of levity or I don't
Right.
know. You know, I just feel like there is so much to play with that was missed. And so, it's right in the middle there. It's like,
Not terrible.
Not terrible. But I believe in you, Jaren. I really thought he was going to make it. I thought he swam off. I thought, Jaren, maybe you'll be the one. Nope.
He didn't know about the coral. Oh my God, that nonsense. Oh, he gave me a message. Should I decode it? Yeah,
I was like,
why not?
Bitch, why didn't you figure this out earlier? That was the most M. Nighty. That was like straight out of Signs. You know, it was like, whip, whip, whip. Again, kids these days, decoding.
Writing codes, I guess. Sure.
Hey, maybe. So that's the latest M. Night movie.
Better than, well.
More entertaining than Glass. Glass was snooze.
Snooze. I was going to say
Big
better
snooze.
than Split. I don't think so. Split,
No.
I feel like because James McAvoy was...
Now, make this movie where it's just James McAvoy and, I don't know, Vicky Creeps on a beach aging. I'd watch the shit out of that movie. Maybe it's more interesting if it's just two people. I don't know.
What if they're two strangers or three strangers and they get to know each other, but then all of a sudden they start to notice that they're aging more and more, whatever it is, like you said. Or I do like that too. Like if it's like a mom and daughter and they have the BRCA gene.
Something.
And it's like, let's see if this trial, right, we gave it to the 7-year-old. Let's see if it prevents her from getting the breast cancer. I don't know. It would be interesting.
There's at least different angles that could have been, like we said, explored. Yeah, maybe it's a rom-com with three, what's that called?
A ménage à trois?
Well, yes, but like a...
Throuple?
Yes, but like in screenwriting terms, you can't pick between the two.
Oh, a love triangle.
That's the word. I kept wanting to say a circle, and I was like, it's not. It's three. There's 3 points on a triangle. Maybe it's a love triangle, and it's the whole. If it was French, it would be like, and they all fucked on the beach and smoked cigarettes, and it would be very, that.
Yeah.
Something
introspective. What is life, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Like if Bergman had made this movie, bleak. Ooh, now if a shark had shown up on this beach.
I mean, I thought about it when he was like, oh, I'm going to swim around the corner or whatever. I mean, I guess there were no animals.
Well, they did,
right?
they
That
did
was
the
whole
fish,
thing.
it
Stayed
vibed
away.
the fish. But sharks age differently, right? They age slower, right? Than humans.
I don't know
whatever
if they age slower, but they live a long time.
They regenerate.
Like sea turtles, too, and sharks, I think, live for like hundreds of years. So assuming that it could come in and out, if it was in there for a while, it wouldn't really matter. Like it would be worth going to get the snack, right?
Right.
Blake Lively, ooh, so tasty, delicious. I'd go get her.
Yum, yum. I'm swimming through the
coral.
coral.
I aged a little bit, but
right?
what's a
the
couple
shark
years?
doesn't care. It's like, I'm swimming through the coral, munch, munch.
Munch, munch, crunch, crunch, yep.
And the sea turtle is like, I'm swimming through the coral, pasta salad, kale salad, probably.
Keep it healthy. That way your body doesn't age too much.
Right. Yeah. And now that would have been wild because, so Jaren's like, I was on the swim team. I'm going to do it, right?
I got this.
And I mean, if that had happened, oh my, if he was like, da 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 na na, and it was just like, chomp, 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 because then it would have healed, right? Let's say his arm gets bit off, right? And then he just spends the rest of the movie with a dangling but not bleeding out arm. I mean, maybe they ride the shark to freedom. They see the shark and its fin go through the coral and they go, wait a minute now, what's that?
Yeah. I mean, insane,
Better
but I
movie.
do love the idea of mixing the shallows and old into one weird thing.
Sadly, Steven Seagal, lands on the shark to be like, but then it dies.
I don't know how long birds last, but like he could probably fly away from it, maybe.
He's hovering above the bubble.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Jaren, swim through the coral, Jaren. You can do it. Jaren! I believe in you, Jaren. Swim through that coral. Ah, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If a talking bird had shown up in this movie,
Jaren.
would have been better.
I do like too, like the dead whale makes sense because it aged and died, right? But the shark's still alive because it's fine.
And Blake Lively is just eternal?
Where are you taking me?
She's aging. Yeah, where are you taking me? Outside of this aging bubble. Hello, I'm trying to save you, bitch. But she doesn't get it.
Oh my God. He was just trying to help her out.
Yeah.
And somehow she knew, but rejected it. Where are you taking me? She knew he had a direction to go in, but didn't know why. If only she'd listened.
Didn't know why.
Wow. Honestly, though, if they had ridden sea turtles through the coral to survive, I mean, that's the movie I want to watch. I mean, I tell you what. Whee! Because they're like 6. So he's like, yeah, I'm Maddox, I'm Trent, whee!
Oh my God, what is this? Like fucking Mario? Like,
yeah. I love that. Or if they had seen a ship at some point, way off in the distance, right? And they're trying to, wave them down, whatever it is. A few more things could have happened. But anyway, sadly...
Sure, like set a fire and try and make a smoke signal or something.
Yeah.
SOS in the sand.
They seemed pretty, resolved with their fate pretty quickly. Like, they were just like, well, I guess we're fucked.
Yep.
So there's that. Maybe you should check that note,
I mean,
Trent.
they did try every method of getting out of there, and she did fall to her death from the cliff, but
Yeah, I don't know. Something.
Yeah.
Something.
So, that was old.
That was old.
Old.
Old. I tell ye. Now it went into a pirate territory. Cheers!